Hello everybody and welcome back to another one of my in-home, in-office videos. Andy Martinez Jr. here, and today I want to talk about what do you do when you're just getting started and you know that you don't have the clients and the customers and you ain't got the fancy office and you don't got the fancy phones or the fancy car and all that crap that we all worry about. What is the best thing you can offer to your customers, your clients, in order for them to believe in you, trust in you, and do business with you, right? Because that's what you want. You want people to do business with you. You want to get paid for your services. Where do you start? You start where you can. So I talk a lot about doing things on the cheap. We all can't just start forking out, $10,000 a month in marketing, $300,000 a month in marketing. I know we all watch, Instagram, and we watch these videos, and these guys have these sponsorships. And I do that, by the way, only my local market for my business. But you see how everywhere we're being bombarded all day long with marketing. These things cost money. My hats, my shirts, they cost money. My advertisements at the gym, that costs a lot of money. The promotion work that I put into my community, that costs money. The sponsorships that I do, that costs money. Everything in advertising costs money. YouTube, on the other hand, is free. Instagram is free. Getting yourself educated, reading books, not so expensive. This one has been one of the little gems that I found. If you all remember the guerrilla marketing books from the early 80s, there's a new one out. By God, I'm gonna pronounce his name wrong, but Sohail Khan did one with J. Conrad Levinson. I happened to be at a party a few weeks ago, and I bumped into, I'll call him Khan, and great dude. Chatted with me for an hour. Easily could have billed me, a few grand for his time, but he was kind enough to talk with me in a social environment, and to reciprocate, I did pick up his book, and it's a great read thus far. It's called Guerrilla Marketing and Joint Ventures. I'm getting into it right now, so I'll tell you more about it as I get further into the book. But I think one of the things that you can offer people, especially when you're just starting out, is get your knowledge right. I mean, learn the language of your business. Learn, the process, the systems. See what other people are doing. Get good mentors. Don't sit around in the cubicle with the guy next to you and see what the guy next to you is doing. Like you try to see what's going on in the office upstairs, and try to see what the bigger guys are doing. Try to see what the guys that you follow on Instagram or YouTube, if you're following me, see what they're doing, and whatever it is that they're doing that you're not doing and you're capable of doing. For example, my YouTube videos, my Instagram videos, get on that. Get on that. There's a reason why they're doing it. They're not doing it to waste their time, and they're not doing it because it's not profitable. They're doing it because it works. The hard part is being consistent, which is my video from yesterday, and we all want to see the instant gratification. We all want the reward right away, and these efforts, like this video, can take a long while to really see the results of your efforts. Luckily for me, with my real estate business, I see those things, the results of those efforts almost instantaneously. My community, my local places that I frequent, my bars, my restaurants, my gym, like I said, my community, they all know who I am. They all know what I do. I constantly engage with them, and I constantly, not throwing it in their face, but have my own subtle ways of making sure that I let them know, hey, I'm in real estate, come across. My hats, let me reach out over here. I coach my kids' little league team. I don't think I got a hat, but I got my own hat. Look at that. Where is it? I got my own hat. I got my own shirts. I do whatever I can to get the conversation started without me having to generate the conversation. And the nice thing about these types of advertisements, I know we see all the gurus are sporting their gear and all of that. They're doing that because it works. A lot of them are selling their gears. They're doing that because it makes money. Me, on the other hand, for where I am right now, I'm just handing it out to the people that are in my community and the people that are supportive of me and what I am doing. So the first thing I want to talk about, I guess, that's the most important, is get educated. Read everything and anything. Listen to any podcast. I started off with Bigger Pockets. I still listen to Bigger Pockets. I developed a friendship with one of Bigger Pockets' go-to guys, Anson Young, finding and funding and flipping deals. And he's one of the premier fix and flip guys in the country. And I was so into his message and what he was doing, I went out to Denver. And when they were having a Bigger Pockets meetup that he was hosting, I crashed it like a stalker. Anyway, so yeah, really find yourself some mentors online, and get yourself some good literature, and just really inundate yourself with content and knowledge. That's the first thing. Second of all, let everybody know, most importantly, what you are doing. And if you don't feel like you know what you're doing, and we've all been there, try to find things that you can offer and value. You hear that word all the time. What can you offer? For me, I'm a social guy. I love my community. I talk to everybody. I always have. I've just been a social person. I like talking to people. I like listening to their stories. That's, one of my strengths. That's one of my gifts. And that's also a really key factor in building rapport with potential customers and clients and just people. Because obviously I'm not going to do deals with everybody that I meet, but I want to forge relationships with these people, because honestly, there is no better feeling than walking in a restaurant and just knowing the gentleman at the host stand or the hostess, and they see you and they smile and they greet you and they're like, you know what, I got a good table for you, and they bring you over and they sit you in that little special section, or the waitress that's familiar with you, and you have a good experience with her, she has a good experience with you, she remembers that you tipped well. All these relationships add to your experience, and it also adds to like your overall vibe of who you are and what you're about. Because that host or waitress or hostess, whatever, may not be ready to do business with you that day. It might take them a few years, but they also might know the GM or somebody in their circle that might be looking for somebody to do your line of work with, and they're like, you know what, there's that guy that always comes into the restaurant, good guy, good person. And the power of the referral, just somebody telling you, hey, this person is great. How many times have we all done that, right? Go eat here because this place is great. And even though there's 10 different places that are similar to what you're gonna go eat, in my case the other night, I went to a vegan burger joint called Monty's Good Burger here in K-Town. I only went there because it came highly recommended from a friend, and I was tired of seeing all the posts on Instagram about it. So we head out, we went over there. I dug it. I'm a meat guy, but for a vegan burger, it's pretty damn good. So, I can't say enough about like just building rapport within your community and making sure that you're constantly adding value in any capacity to anybody. People, I really believe that the universe doesn't put people in your path for no reason. Everybody gets put in my path, I believe, to teach me a lesson, or sometimes to, excuse me, sometimes, for me to offer them something. And it doesn't have to be languages. I don't have to talk. Sometimes somebody just needs to let it out and vent. And that's a really good way of building rapport. And that's also, a strong attribute of someone that's really good in sales, is the act of listening. For my actor friends that watch my stuff, come on, every time you're in a class, they tell you that one of the most powerful things you could do is active listening. And so many of us, we want to jump in and put our 2 cents in and say, and interrupt people. And we never really fully listen. We want to finish people's sentences. Try to listen better. And the other thing I want to just say before I wrap up this video is, things take time. And there is no overnight success. Ask anyone, all the computer guys, my son's watching the Bill Gates documentary, started out in the garage. I think Steve Jobs started off in the garage. You know, I don't know where Elon Musk started. Maybe he had a garage, maybe he had a basement, but I'm sure that guy started somewhere, and it wasn't like down at SpaceX, you know, with millions of dollars at his disposal and a bunch of scientists and engineers to help him fulfill his goals and ambitions. Elon had to have started somewhere. We all start somewhere. You're watching me now. I am starting here. There are little gradual changes that really impact people's lives and put them on the next level. So, by the way, I want to just say that, you know, my business, the first few years, you know, didn't do so well in terms of transactions. But as a lot of you hear me talk so often about, you know, 5-6 years ago when I was driving around Ubering, all these relationships and all these people and all these friendships that I forged, later on, those relationships and those friendships, you know, filled my profit margin, you know, and started sustaining my life and adding to my life. You know, thank God that I always feel that, you know, Uber changed my life, and being a driver and the experience of being a driver added so much value to me and so much understanding for other people. You know, I'm one of the highest rated Uber drivers out there. I had over 5,000 trips while I was driving, and I really believe that I learned from each and every one of my passengers. And I did make some great friendships, and I did close some deals. I did a huge rental deal with one of my first big rental deals was a passenger, and my first multi-million-dollar deal came from a passenger, a guy that I was dropping off at the airport. So it can happen anywhere, and those people coming into your lives, you got to be open to that, and you got to continue to hustle. And you got to be constantly putting yourself out there and letting people know what you do, and constantly be doing all those things that other people are not doing. Putting yourself out there, even when something might seem a little ridiculous and embarrassing, put yourself out there. Be seen. As my great friend Daryl Nutter said, and it's the name of my next book, if you're not appearing, you're disappearing. Okay? Get yourself out there, get knowledge. You know, if you were one of my passengers, I'm sure you always saw, I always had 2 or 3 books in my car, and I usually threw them on the front seat, and people would constantly ask me, what are you reading? And that would always lead to, you know, some sort of conversation. Most of the time, people would just sit in the back, right? We've all been passengers. If the driver's not engaging with me and there's nothing of interest, it's really hard to start a conversation with them. But people see books, people see things. You know, sometimes they get in my car and I'd be listening to a podcast and I'd say, hey, do you mind if I keep this on? Would you like for me to change it? They'd say like, no, you know, and it would just lead into a natural, organic conversation about who I am, what I'm doing, my business, little things. Think about this. There's 2 types, no matter, you know, how you break it down. You're either born man, woman, your DNA. I know there's a lot of things, factors, but man and woman, we are more similar than we are different. You know, there's only a few things that really separate a man from a woman. There's only a few things that separate a white guy from a black guy, or a Spanish guy from a I don't know, an Indian guy. It doesn't matter. We as a species, we have way more in common than we have differences, and it should be easy for us to relate, because you know, sometimes, man, we all get belly aches. You know, sometimes, like, you know, the older guys, we get up 10 times in the middle of the night to pee. What the hell is up with that? You know, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you are, where you're from. We all find ourselves having more in common. You know, for God's sakes, I want to believe that most of us love our children and want the best for our children. We want the best for our friends and our family. We hope the best, and hopefully we are all striving for the best. And I think that's one of the things that we can all kind of hone into when you're trying to build rapport and meet new people and expand yourself. Try to connect with people. So let me just real quickly, because I want to wrap it up, but be consistent, get knowledgeable, talk to people, put yourself out there, take risks, and and just watch it grow. Just put it out there. Nobody's watching, nobody cares. It's your life, it's your thing. Do your best, and you'll get the results. Overnight success, you'll see it right here.